welcome back. My name is Sayward B. Eller, writer, podcaster, and almost editor. Welcome to my channel. I am super excited to say that I have like 10 subscribers. Thank you so much. It's really fantastic. I appreciate it very much. I just recorded an entire video, and when I start ranting about things, it's really ridiculous. So I decided to just forego the rant, and we'll get back to the topic that I intended to talk about in the first place. So without further ado, let's get started. Today I am talking to you about the bane of my existence, being a planner. So this week I have to do a plot outline in my MFA class. And for those of you who have watched my first videos or listened to my podcast, you know I am not a planner. I am a planster. I do have some plans. I know my characters' names. I know, definitely I know something about my main character, a little kernel, a little nugget that really helps me to get in and start writing. And I know usually about the inciting incident, and sometimes I have the ending already in my head. With this particular novel, I do not have the ending in my head. I have an idea of the character arc that I want for my main character and my secondary character, but as far as anything else, I don't have anything else yet other than it's set in 1954 and it involves a mining disaster. What I have to do though, since I am writing this novel as my thesis project, I have to submit different, like last week I had to submit a character arc. I hadn't even really given that much thought to my character yet because I only have about 1,700 words written in this particular novel so far. I started it several years ago and I just kind of walked away from it to work on something else. Now I have pulled it out of the drawer and this is what I'm going to do for my thesis novel. The problem that I did not think about is, hey, you're in an MFA program. Guess what? You're going to have to provide character sketches, and you're going to have to provide character arcs, and you're going to have to provide a plot outline. So this week, yay, it's plot outline week, and I am absolutely 100% hating this week. My professor's like, oh, even pantsters will be, rest assured, you guys are going to be fine. You're going to thank me for this. No, we're not. No, I'm not. I hate you a little bit right now. Not really. I don't hate anybody, but I dislike you immensely. Now, I know that last week I said I was going to talk about character building at the end of the week, but my grandsons started daycare and school, and so they brought me home a little bitty bug that made me feel like absolute junk for several days. You did not get that video. That does not mean that I will not revisit it, because I am a writer and I'm going to be building loads more characters. And I actually just agreed to do a mini workshop on building characters in November. So I'm pretty excited because Jeff Gerke's method is really working for me as far as getting to know my characters. I'm not going to go too far into it because I am going to revisit it, especially when I start building the other characters in this novel. I have built the main character and a very important secondary character so far, but I still have about 6 characters that I have to create, so you guys are going to be in on all that fun. This week I'm complaining about plotting because I suck at plot outlining. It's not that I can't do it, it's that my brain refuses to do it because my brain thinks it's stupid to tell myself a story and then expect me to write that story. I have a really, really hard time with, this is going to seem scattered, but I don't read books twice. I have favorite books. I love The Color Purple. I love The Awakening by Kate Chopin. I love Persuasion by Jane Austen. I love The Witch of Blackbird Pond. I can't remember the author's name. I think The Witch of Blackbird Pond is the only one that I've read twice. And it's just because if I already know every aspect of the story, I don't need to read it again. At least I don't feel like I do. Now, sometimes I really wish I could read a story a second time, because Frankenstein is a book that should be revisited over and over and over again just because it's so devastating. And the scenery is, the imagery in that book is amazing. Also, Jane Eyre. I think that is a beautiful book. And although I do have a very deep dislike for Mr. Rochester, I do try to keep in mind that it was a book written in the 19th century, and that's just how dudes were. But anyway, this week I have to figure out my plot points for this book. At this point, I only know my backstory for my character, and this is only one of my characters, and the inciting incident for my character. I know there's a mine explosion. Other than that, I am adrift in a sea of despair because I suck so bad at outlining. And if I was one of these really great YouTubers that could do like the vlog thing and show myself working on it, I totally would, but I'm not. I'm just one of those film it, upload it, done kind of people. I do some editing, but I don't do a ton of editing. I'm not that good at this time. Now, what I plan to do is, man, I really hope I'm not going to start using now instead of so, because I think now might be a little bit more aggressive and a little more annoying. Tell me what you think. Which segue word should I use? So or now? I'm so used to using so that I think I want to stick with that one. But crutch words become tedious for people who are watching you or listening to you. I really hate it when people say and I know I do it. Everybody does it to a degree, but when you're watching someone or you're listening to someone and all they say is and then something and then it becomes very tedious, and I really want to tell them to shut up. So if you're at that point, if you're at that point with me and my so, please let me know, and I'll switch it up to now since I really need a segue word for some reason. Just let me know. Let me know how you're feeling. Back to topic. I am planning to use Save the Cat Writes a Novel for the creation of this required outline that I really hate Southern New Hampshire University for making me do. But I knew that this was something that would be required since I am in an MFA program for creative writing. Duh. I just wish that there was programs weren't geared specifically for plotters. That's what really annoys me. I know it's difficult to teach pantsers and plantsters how to really do this. It must be really difficult for instructors, teachers, professors to be plotters themselves and trying to teach people like me who do not plot how to plot. Of course, that's not what is happening in my class because I'm in an MFA program. I should know how to outline by now, and I do know how to outline. I may have said that already, and I can't remember. But I don't outline. It ruins, not the creativity for me because I'm sure I could recover, but I don't read books twice. So if I don't read books twice, why am I going to tell myself a story and I think I did say this earlier, why am I going to tell myself a story and then make myself write the story? It baffles the mind, my mind. Now I know plenty of plotters. I know fantastic writers who plot everything out, and they may or may not stick strictly to the outline. I'm not one of those writers who thinks that if I put things down on paper, they can't be changed. They're written in blood. I don't believe that. I know that outlines can shift and change with your story, but I also know that with an outline, you've got your story figured out. And yeah, it's possible that your story will surprise you, but it's not likely. And I have to apologize, my top light just went out, so my lighting is now kind of ridiculous, I'm sure. And all I have is this one very small ring light. But hopefully it's not too bad. This week, with my plot outline, I am going to apply the methods of Save the Cat. The original Save the Cat was written, I can't remember the author's name, but I'm trying to look on here to see. I know she mentions it in here. Oh, here it is, Blake Snyder. So Blake Snyder wrote the original Save the Cat, and I think it was Save the Cat Writes a Play or something like that. So Jessica Brody put this together. Save the Cat Writes a Book. Writes a novel. She said she used the Save the Cat method for a long time, and then she decided to kind of put everything together, and I'm sure a number of people have read this. I'm not the only person in the world to buy this, thank goodness, because it's a really great tool. She talks in here about how she's taken everything that's great with Save the Cat and applied it strictly, for novel writing. That's why I'm planning on creating my own template using I think there's 13 points to the Save the Cat method, in order to hopefully discover what the plot is in my book. Because I write women's fiction and upmarket fiction, this is this will be a historical women's fiction. There is a plot in women's fiction, but the central focus is most often on conflict and character. That's why, I think that's why I'm drawn so much to the genre that I write in, because it does focus on character. It's very character driven, it's very conflict driven, and it's not very often that it's plot driven. I don't have to give a lot of thought to the plot. I want to make sure that it's strong enough to, so that it holds the story together, but there's not as much focus on the plots. I'll be applying Save the Cat to my outline. My professor is a slow grader this time around. I was very spoiled by my last professor, because if I turned something in, it was graded within like 12 hours. I got very spoiled, and now it looks like he's going to run these assignments out like the whole 2 weeks. Of course, I'm not trying to say anything bad about him, because I know he's probably not only teaching my class, but he probably teaches at other universities or other schools. So I'm not trying to say anything bad about him. But I would like to know what I made on my last 2 assignments that I submitted before I'll feel exactly comfortable about this one. That's where I am, guys. I don't really know what to do. But I'm going to spend some time with Jessica Brody and Save the Cat and try my damnedest to come up with an outline for this book that I haven't even started yet. I'm 1,500 words in. You don't know what your book is really going to be made of when you're 1,500 words in. Not usually. At least I don't. If you do, that's fantastic, and I admire you greatly. But for me, I don't really know the full picture at 1,500 words. That's what I'll be doing. Now, what I want to do, last thing I'm going to say before I wind this up, because I hate going too long in these things. Last week I did a video on revising indie authors, revising their work multiple times, and how it really drives me nuts that there's, you know, updates available, and then, you know, 2 weeks later, update is available. And then, you know, another 3 weeks later, update is available. It's like, hey, you published it. Stop. But I'm doing it. I know. I'm such a hypocrite. I published this book in 2012, October 2nd, 2012 to be exact. It is a ghost story. It's paranormal. And this is the same novel that I held up. After that video, I took the cover off and tore all of the pages out so that I could go through and really take a look at this, because it's so all over the place. This is green, and I thought I was to the point where I was ready to publish it. So I'm doing a second edition. And I want to show you guys. I posted this on Instagram, but I'm not sure many of you follow me there. Do you see? It's just going to get worse from here. But I'm releasing this again next year in September. That's my tentative release date. I have an editor that I'm working with. Excuse the tractors driving by. So I am a hypocrite. I'm not going to revise. When I hit publish on it again, it will never be revised ever again. But I haven't felt good about this since I published it. And I want to feel good about it. So that's why after 10 years, no. That's my other one. I have to do the math. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. After 7 years, well, 8, because I'm releasing it next year, I feel like it needs an update. So it will get an update. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm a little bit of a hypocrite. I mean, I'm not revising it every 2 weeks. That's what really irritates the mess out of me. But I am revising it, and I am re-releasing it. New cover. Probably it'll have a whole new feel for a story. It won't be a new story, but it might feel like one. I have talked enough today. I have recorded a podcast today. I've recorded a YouTube video today. This is actually the second YouTube video I've created today, because the last one I did was a rant, and it was a hot mess. So I'm going to wrap this up before I say so again. I will see you again next week. And I think I'm going to be talking about rejection. I just got a really big rejection. And it's got me all in my feelings. So that's probably what I'll talk about next week. Have a great week. Happy writing. See you very soon